Everybody, it's your boy Cool Nerd CVA checking back in with you. This is my segment on Pro Wrestling Now 1. Um, I'm just going to talk about any and everything that pretty much affects me in some way during, in wrestling. Something I find interesting. A lot of people may find some of the things I talk about interesting, or they may say, people already went over Raw, SmackDown, or, you know, that's cool. What I'm trying to do is pretty much put, perspective and my things in the perspective, and hopefully you can agree or disagree, leave your opinion, comment, whatever, etc., etc. Let me stop boring you with the small talk. Raw. This week's Raw, well, last week's Raw when this will be uploaded, was kind of lackluster. Wasn't the best Raw ever. March 21st Raw wasn't the best Raw ever, but it did give a small, basically a setup for next week, when the Raw before WrestleMania, when The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, anybody and anything that has to do with WrestleMania will be at this Raw to pretty much give it that extra boost, for people to want to go and actually buy WrestleMania. So I'm definitely looking forward to that because that's something that, I would want to, invest my time into. And I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people were pissed because those guys weren't there that week. That's the only real thing. But moving on, WrestleMania is going to look like it's an okay card. I'm going to enjoy WrestleMania while watching it. I think it's actually going to be pretty good, even though the card doesn't look too solid or it's not that one, real definitive main event, because pretty much The Miz and John Cena match was swept up within the midst of The Rock coming back. As much as it, brung back a lot of fans, made fans want to talk, this, that, etc., etc., it really just swept them up and moved The Miz over. And it's like, Miz, you're still here. Why is it not The Rock versus John Cena for the WWE title? As fucked up as that may sound, it's true. So pretty much on to the next thing. The reason why Desmond Wolf, Nigel McGuinness hasn't been in TNA is because he's had a concussion problem. A lot of people said this is why the WWE didn't sign him. The WWE didn't sign him not because he had a concussion problem. He had previous concussions if you followed his ROH career, but the medical issue happened while he was in TNA. The reason that WWE didn't sign him when they could have, or was planning on to, is because he had two bicep tears, where he pretty much where he throws his lariat into, both of these shits were fucked. So WWE gave him pretty much an ultimatum. Either you can, stick around and, the indies and, not do as much, or you can take time off, get your biceps fixed, recover 5-6 months. You don't have to be on this season of NXT. Or whatever plan they had for Nigel McGuinness. I'm not sure if NXT was before or after thing, before Danielson got there, but that's pretty much what they say. You can wait, 5 or 6 months. But I guess his thing was he needed the money now. He didn't want to take time off and get rusty or something like that. So he jumped to TNA. TNA really needs Nigel McGuinness or Desmond, or whatever you want to call him at the moment, because the main event scene, due to storylines, current storylines and the fuckery with with Jeff Hardy and Sting and all that other shit, they need that one definitive guy that can always, point to other than AJ Styles. Because Samoa Joe, they're not going to give the push that he deserves. They're really fucking him over. They need that other guy that they can point to. Christopher Daniels, he's in ROH now. He's in TNA. He's planning on signing back to TNA. We don't know if it's going to be a joint thing where he can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for the rest of the year. And we're not going to know how much that's going to affect his TNA career if he's still in ROH, because I guess TNA is going to think of it like this. If he's in both, why should we trust him, with a world title or something like that? What if one day he just goes on ROH on a DVD or, a live pay-per-view and throw our title in the garbage? Something of the sort, Just saying that, getting that out the way. Underrated, overlooked wrestler of the week is Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is one of those guys that pretty much personifies an old school heel. He makes you want to hate him, but he has a great wrestling mind. He's a great guy. I love a lot of his matches. He was NWA champion for a while. He was Heritage champion for a while too. I think he lost that to X Pac or something like that. But whatever. On to the next. He just recently lost the NWA World Title to Coca Man. A lot of people are saying that he pretty much latched himself onto that title. But when you think NWA title now, you're thinking Adam Pearce, and it's a pretty good thing because Adam Pearce represents NWA very well, especially for a heel, And I really enjoy his in-ring work, and I think a lot of people should give him more credit than it is. So I'm Cool Nerd TV. I'm over out. Rate, comment, and subscribe to this app, to this channel. Pro Wrestling Now on is growing. We're getting more people in here. We have somebody that's going to do Indie Weekly. I hope you guys enjoy the show. I'm over and out. Peace, guys. Later.
Bird here 010 to come at you with his segment called Who Made You Watch Wrestling? What I'm going to talk about is who made me. Who was the person, who was the wrestler that was like, you're like, oh snap, who's that? I gotta watch him some more. And I bet you can guess who mine was. I'll give you three guesses and the first two don't count. That's right. The Undertaker. The first time I saw The Undertaker was actually his return. I think. I'm pretty sure what sticks out in my head that made me just go, oh my Jesus, oh my Jesus, my brain is exploding with epicness, was Judgment Day 2000. I'm not sure why I watched the pay-per-view. I think one of my friend was watching it, and I went to go over to his house and watch it, and I heard the boom, and I was like, what is that? It's like, they're like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. What's going on? What's going on in this match? It was a really good match too. It's Triple H versus The Rock, and the all I heard was the, and then I was like, what is that? Like, what was that noise? And then the Undertaker came out and just leveled every single person. Like, he wrecked the ring. Like, every person in the ring was annihilated. Triple H, Mr. McMahon, The Rock, X-Pac, pretty much anyone in the corporation just got obliterated. Obliterated. Destroyed beyond any capable human mind was destroyed. He even almost chokeslammed Stephanie McMahon. He had him. She had her, and then Triple H was like, no! He hit him with a chair, and he was like, what the fuck you doing, bitch? And then he was like, tombstoned him. And then the next night on Raw, I watched it. I asked my friend, like, what channel is this on? I need to watch what the hell's going to happen. And then he destroyed everybody again! The Rock called out Triple H, and Triple H everyone started to beat down The Rock. And then The Undertaker came out again and just beat everybody up. It was amazing. I was freaking out. I loved it. The Undertaker is my favorite wrestler of all time. He is, like, when he returns. Like, he's like, I am back and I'm going to kick your ass. Except for that one time when it was just him and Triple H like this. But, anyway, that's the only one I didn't like. But it was awesome. Judgment Day 2000 made me want to watch wrestling.
What's good, y'all? And right here, this is just going to be my quick thoughts on the latest happenings in indie wrestling over the past few weeks. First, start off with Shakara. Seems that Shakara's going to bring in a new singles title pretty soon, according to Sugar Dunkerton's latest blog. He talked about how this title may, in fact, represent the face of Shakara to a certain extent. It's going to mean more than the Young Lions Cup, and it means just as much as the tag team titles they have in Shakara. And I'm presuming this may be somewhat of a world title, if not a world title, at least the title that solidifies you as the face of Shakara. And if they do have this, I'm all for it. I think that's one of the few things Shakara is missing right now. If they do have a championship like that of that caliber, then I'm all for it. Very looking forward to it if this does happen. In Dragon Gate USA, a lot of people are praising this Akira Tozawa Yamato match from their latest pay-per-view that happened last night, which also determined the first ever Giant Gate USA Tag Team Champions. I'm very looking forward to seeing this match. Not surprising to see these two being talked about, that they had a great match. I think Yamato was very underrated in the ring. Akira Tozawa is just awesome to me, so I'm very looking forward to seeing that match. In Evolve, the next show, Evolve 7, is coming up pretty soon, and some controversy going into the show with Johnny Gargano, Jimmy Jacobs, and Chuck Taylor, who are all tied for the best record in Evolve right now at 4 wins and 2 losses. What I would like to see personally is a triple threat match to determine who has the best record. But they may not do that. They may do some round robin type thing. But, I would like to see a triple threat match personally, especially with those 3 guys in the ring. I think that would be great to see. In PWG, Claudio Castagnoli will take on Joey Ryan for the PWG World title at their next show, April the 9th. That should be a very good match. I want Claudio to retain. I don't want to see Joey Ryan with the PWG title again. You also have Roderick Strong taking on Low Key. That should be good if given time. And a match I'm very looking forward to, Candice LeRae taking on Portia Perez. Portia Perez, one of my favorites in women's wrestling right now. If y'all not seen her, check her out. She's very charismatic in my opinion. I think she is just great in my opinion. And she'll take on Candice LeRae. I think Candice LeRae, one of the most underrated workers as far as women go in the business right now. I always enjoy her work in PWG, not only against women like Christina Von Eerie, but also against the guys as well in PWG. So I'm very looking forward to seeing this match. In NWA news, Colt Cabana won the NWA World title from Adam Pearce. This year, I'm very glad for Colt Cabana to win this. But I expect him to have a long title reign. Not very long, but I think, a satisfied title reign for most people to enjoy. Like I said, very happy for Colt Cabana. Adam Pearce should have lost the belt like Adam Pearce just holds on to that belt for way too long. But glad Cabana won. A familiar face that some people can at least be invested in, so I'm very looking forward to see what they're going to do with him as champion. In Ring of Honor news, a lot of stuff going on that may affect the shows to a certain extent, probably. You have Christopher Daniels defending his television championship against Mike Bennett at the Defy or Deny event coming up. They were doing a little something with Mike Bennett and Daniels, but since Daniels is reportedly signed with TNA and he's been wrestling at Suicide as of late, they may end this feud a little bit prematurely. I was very looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with these two, especially with Mike Bennett. I do like Mike Bennett. Some people don't, but I do. But I don't see Mike Bennett winning the TV title after saying all that. I think it's kind of too early for him to win the belt. I preferably would like Eddie Edwards to retain the belt, because I do think him and Daniels do have some unfinished business. Speaking of Eddie Edwards, he will have a world title shot at Manhattan Mayhem 4. He'll take on Roderick Strong. This should be an excellent match right here, although I do expect Strong to retain the belt here. Then you have the 2 internet pay-per-views for Ring of Honor coming up, WrestleMania weekend, April the 1st and April the 2nd. $20 as a whole for both iPay-per-views, which is a good deal. You have whoever the champions, which I think Roderick Strong. He will take on Daniels April the 1st. I expect Strong to retain in this one. Then you have the Kings of Wrestling taking on the World's Greatest Tag Team for the tag team title. Now, this is what's interesting, is that Shelton Benjamin, like some people may know, he wrestled in a dark match. Possibility he may go back to WWE. So kind of sad to see if Kings of Wrestling retain here, because I do think this would have been the pay-per-view to give the coronation of these guys, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Hart, since they came to Ring of Honor. I think a lot of people would like to see World's Greatest Tag Team win the belts here. But seeing as how Shelton Benjamin may go back to WWE, I'm not sure if they'll make that happen. I would like to see that happen, but who knows? And then you have the next night, you have the World's Greatest Tag Team again in another dream match against the American Wolves. That should be great as well. So I'm very looking forward to seeing those 2 things live. And the last bit of news I want to talk about involves WSU. They recently had their internet pay-per-view last Saturday, and some controversy as well, because Tina San Antonio, one half of the tag team champions of the Bella Saints, got injured. So Jazz was the replacement for Marty Bell. So they won the tag team title. So now Marty Bell, Tina San Antonio, and Jazz are all tag team champions. WSU made a decision to have this as Freebird rules. So that means all three team members are now tag team champions. So that's pretty interesting. And see how that's going to play off. And then they announced the Women's J Cup tournament coming up in April, and the winner of that Women's J Cup tournament will get a shot at the WSU champion in June at their next internet pay-per-view, which is the Uncensored Rumble. So I'm very looking forward to seeing that. So that's just my quick thoughts on the news, and See y'all later.